Alright, I got a nice hot fire going. I'm in the shop. It's not snowing this morning. It snowed a little bit last night, but I picked up a few things at the fastener supply place. Big box stores won't have this stuff. You can try, but I doubt it. So these are cutting edge bolts, and they've got 6 lines on them. This is one I had in stock. I picked up these today. I picked up 8 of these black ones. This is one for the big plow. I think it's 5/8, but it's got 3 lines on it. And then these 2 over here have no lines. That's an old bolt. And then this one, it's got a little triangle. So I look up my chart. I was told that these black bolts here, when I bought them about 20 minutes ago, I was told they're grade 5, but according to this, they got 6 lines. They're SAE grade 8. I've had this little chart sitting up on the wall of the garage for, well, must be 25 years now. They came from removing an old shock absorber. So I came with a box. This is probably printed on the box, or came in the box of a shock absorber installation. So it's kind of handy. SAE is Society of Automotive Engineers. So they grade the ones with no markings, probably grade 2. The 3 lines on this one here is probably grade 5, which that's what I thought. They told me I was getting grade 5 bolts, these bolts. But I went and checked my chart. Now the 5 lines on this one is supposed to be grade 7. I almost never see that. But grade 8. Now that's a good quality bolt. So I picked up 8 of those. And while I was there, I picked up 2 new ground clamps for my welder. See how this one's got lots of tension. I'm really squeezing here. This could be an exercise device. So this is my old one. This is from my... it returns to that position right there. So what happened is the current, instead of going through into the wire, it probably went over on this side, jumped through the spring, and the spring turned cherry red and lost its tension. Anyway, because of the looks of that, I think it's done its duty. It's time for a new one. And then I bought the brass one, solid brass one for the arc welder, which I think a lot more current goes through that. And then I bought this cheap one for the MIG. Both of them are the same. This MIG is so I got to change them both. This one's not as old, but it's got no spring, no tension. But my job today, if I don't get the clamps on today, I'm not going to be upset about it, but I really got to get the cutting edge changed. And I got the torches rolled over to the door. I just got to send them out. I like to do the cutting, anything outside like that, if I can. It's not too cold today, so it's a good day for it. Oh, before I forget, I wanted to show you these as well. These are real cutting edge bolts for like maybe a cutting edge on a grater blade or some sort of and these are grade 8 as well. So I've got tons of these, but I can't use these. They're too big. So the 1/2 inch is what I need. And they don't. 1/2 inch is an unusual size for a cutting edge bolt, but because it's on a little light plow, that's what I have. But these are quite expensive. I think you can pay $6 or $8 for one of these bolts. $150. Good PSI. 150 MPSI. I don't know what that stands for. But anyway, I thought I'd show you those. Okay, so there, we got to cut these bolts off. I already tried with a socket to turn them, and they will not turn. So they've been on there long enough. And you see they got the same markings as the new bolts I bought, but a little worn off. And I'll show you my new cutting edge. Will compare. Okay, we're getting there. Well, there's the aftermath. I managed to cut all the nuts off. You can kind of see. They were the nuts with the Teflon inserts, and here's the new nuts I bought. These are Stover, I think they're called Stover nuts, or Stover something. They don't have the Teflon in them, but they, you have to turn them on with a wrench. They don't come off on their own. You gotta, they're better than the Teflon. And they're, these are the bolts, $1.97 each. So $15.78 and 49 cents each for the nuts. So this whole thing's $22, and I managed to save all the bolts. That was my plan all along. So I don't know if I'm not going to reuse them, but I'm going to put them in the bin. And I've got another plow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's one more, 8 there. Oh, that's a new one there. That's, you see, they're exact same as the new one. They're a little bit longer, the newer ones. There must be one more outside somewhere. Okay, so I just got to get the impact gun, and we're going to zip these on. And that job's done. I got one more thing I'd like to do today. So there's the two cutting edges beside each other. The new one and the old one. You think I got my money's worth? That's 6 inches, and this one, I bet you it's less than 3, so I wore out more than half of the cutting edge. I think that's the original cutting edge, and it looks like it's about 3/8 of an inch thick. And this new one's much thicker; it's ½ inch. So that's an original. That's a Western replacement cutting edge. It doesn't say Western on it. But it says replaces Western, and it's got a part number there, so it weighs a lot more. So I'll get that on. And the one thing you can't forget to do is clean the surface behind this cutting edge. A lot of rust and debris and mud and dirt. And if I just slap this on and bolted it on, it'll get loose. That dirt will work its way out eventually, and then the bolts will be all loose. So I'm going to clean that really good with a wire brush and a rag, and then we'll install that new cutting edge. Okay, there. I took a few burrs off. Some of these holes had burrs around them from the bolts impacting up there. And there was a burr at the end here too. And some of them had no burrs. This one was okay. Down here they had some big burrs. You can kind of see the holes ovalized a little bit. That's from impacting all the time. And I polished all the rust off there. There's a burr here. And all along the bottom edge here. So that's a step you can't really skip. You kind of got to do that. You put your new cutting edge on and tighten it up with the rust and burrs like that, it'll be loose on there. And then it'll really give you trouble. So now I'm going to put the new cutting edge on. Okay, I just finished reefing those on there with an impact gun and a breaker bar. I went after with the breaker bar, and I smeared a little grease behind between the two surfaces. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but it's going to probably reduce the amount of rust in there. There was a lot of rust. So, you know, it's eight little ½ inch bolts. That's a lot of, they're pretty strong to take an impact of a whole truck behind it hitting a curb, or some of the manhole covers, you catch on some. So, that job's done, but spend the extra money and get grade 8 bolts. If they don't have those 6 lines on there, they're not grade 8, and they'll break. Come to think of it, these bolts here, this is one left over from the other plow. And you see the 3 lines, that's grade 5. These keep breaking, and that's why they're breaking. I'm going to see if I can get some grade 8s to replace these. And these are 5/8, but that's on the big tractor, one of the bigger tractors. And they just can't take and I think there's 9 or 10 bolts on that one. So They can't take the impact. So they just break. They break right here. Yeah. So get the right ones and get the grade 8s. You'll have no trouble with those. They've been on there for years. And, you know, I don't think it's a good idea to reuse these. But I do have them in a pinch. I can put them on. Or you can use one to replace a broken bolt. Or sometimes they vibrate out. That's why I bought these special nuts that just lock right on. You don't need Loctite, and a lot of times I weld them on, but I'm not going to weld these on. And the vibration is unreal up there on asphalt at 30, 40 kilometers an hour. You can feel it in the truck. One of the things I forgot to mention you should use when you do a job like that is a jack stand underneath your plow. A little safer. An impact gun was handy to have for this. The torches I kind of needed. Cut those nuts off. And I'm not going to bother installing this today, but I don't like the metal, chrome plated, whatever that is. So I'm going to take a piece of this copper tubing here and I'm going to drill a hole and hammer it to that shape in there. So, and this bolt will go through. So the torches were handy to use on this job. I had them right here at the garage door and I stuck the hose outside there. I just got to pull it in before I go. So there's my torch. It's really, really old. It's a Purox. I don't know if you can see that. You can still buy parts for this. It's got the model number in here. If you can, I don't know if you can read that. Come on, focus. Anyway, I've had these for a long, long time. Yeah, see, there's a little model number there. You're going to need torches one day if you're going to get in this business. And the other thing is a welder. I don't think there's a plow guy in the city that doesn't even know his welder by first name, or he owns a welder. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and give me a thumbs up or leave a comment. And this thing's ready to plow snow. So it was a job that was on my mind for a while now, and it's been bothering me, so it's done. And the numbers and the sticker will be worn off in 1 or 2 snowstorms. They're calling for 5 to 10 tonight, so by this time tomorrow, there may be nothing left on there. Even the paint will come right off. Thanks for watching.